How to build competitive advantage on Amazon? Well, that's a good question, and that's what we're going to be discussing in this video. Hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. So we're talking about how competitive advantage and business strategy. So dominating your competitors. So this is a basic topic, but it's good to actually consider. And this is basic stuff in every business book that you might read. So, but one thing I have also noticed that I know that some people who started selling on Amazon the same time as we did. And they quickly got results and built multi-million seven-figure Amazon FBA business. And so they had built a big asset. But the thing that I noticed that they were doing really, really poorly at is that they had only been developing their Amazon skills, meaning that they were only focused on doing these marketing tactics here and there and finding the latest Amazon hacks. Whereas Victor and I we were also improving our skills in terms of running a real business. We weren't just educating ourselves regarding Amazon. No, we were educating ourselves in pretty much every topic related with this. So that also included hiring and cash flow and basic business principles. Unfortunately, what happened to these people I know is that they basically, since they didn't know how to handle a business, their business pretty much came crumbling down. So one day they had this seven-figure business that then eventually, they didn't know how to run it as a business, and it just came crumbling down. So it's super important that we don't get too much focused or fixated on specific Amazon tactics, and we don't consider ourselves as Amazon sellers solely. No, we need to be business owners, and that means we need to have skill set in different areas, or pretty much in all areas of what it takes to run a business, running a global online business. But anyway, let's talk about the competitive advantage and what it actually means on Amazon. Competitive advantage, that's just a sustainable advantage that a business owner has over its competitors that enables it to succeed in the market. So pretty simple, right? We are doing something better than the competitors. And there's actually two key sources of competitive advantage. The first one, that's a pretty simple thing. Cost advantage. It can be, in some cases, it can be pretty impossible for us, especially if we are sourcing products from China and we are competing let's say, other Chinese sellers who might even be suppliers or working for the suppliers of those same products. Then that's a pretty difficult area to be. But then there's also source of the differentiation advantage, and that's actually what we are doing on this whole one product away challenge. So the one product away 7-day challenge, and that's pretty much fixated on this differentiation, doing this research well so that we are able to make a better offer to the customers than any of the competitors. So it's not about having the best product, it's about having the best offer. Because best product can mean that, okay, this is the best product, but only downside is that it costs twice as much as the competitors. And that's not gonna work, right? Especially if we are launching a new product on Amazon. That simply is not going to work out. So, and most of the time, so that means that people don't want the best product. They want it, but they're not willing to pay. And market is the one that defines the price. So people vote with their wallets. So if they're not willing to pay, then we are not going to be making any sales for that best product. So cost advantage is that where a business is able to produce its product at lower cost than the competition. This is actually the worst place to be if you are like on the race to the bottom. Like one time we were selling this like Apple Watch accessories, and I mean the competition over those, I mean it's just ruthless. All the time the pricing was going lower and lower, and all the time there were like competitors like bringing up new features, like improving it bit by bit. But I mean the improvement was not such a big deal, but the price is going lower and lower all the time. That was definitely the difficult thing. So we don't want to end up in this cutthroat business. And I can tell you that one thing that made it even worse, that some of the competitors were pretty like unethical. So they were doing like tons of black hat tactics and giving like competitors like 1-star reviews and really that kind of stuff. So that's a really annoying place to be. So we don't want to end up in this cutthroat business. So in many cases, we might not be able to have this cost advantage. But one thing we can that will definitely have immediate impact in purchase is that if you're using like Chinese, I mean, if you're sourcing from China, that we use Chinese sourcing agents. So someone local who knows the culture there, because as Westerners, like we are basically we can do two things that immediately increase the price. First one is that if we pay in if we get quoted and we pay in US dollars, I mean then we already lost. And second thing is that if we order from places like Alibaba, then I mean it's a place for trading agents and like really small like suppliers, then we already lost there as well. But the challenge is that if you're working with this like bigger suppliers, bigger like factories, I mean usually they don't have anyone speaking English there. So that's why we need to have like Chinese person to handle this area. So yes, if we are able to get the product at a lower cost, then that is definitely for our advantage. And I mean, there's many things we can do in the shipping as well. For example, shipping like bigger amounts, I mean, purchasing bigger amounts and then shipping by sea. So that will have another like big impact on our profitability. So we can get the cost down. That's it. I mean, this is a really important thing. I mean, having this cost advantage, but in many cases, like we don't really necessarily have the upper hand if it's not something unique that we are doing, like if we don't have any patents and that kind of stuff, like any kind of exclusivity for this product. So it's difficult to find how we could find cost advantage from a private label product. So for us Amazon sellers, this differentiation is much more of a like bigger thing. So this is where we should be focusing most of our effort, because what is differentiation advantage? It's where like business is able to differentiate its product from the competition such that customers perceive superior value. I mean, the funny thing is that it basically says the thing there that it's about perceived value. So there's many things we can do inside of Amazon to give this perceived value. And I mean, people on Amazon, I mean, they are not buying the physical products, so they are just basically buying just images and whatever is mentioned on that product listing. But another thing is that we also need to understand the marketplace. And I mean, on Amazon it's especially crucial. But I mean, this is what we already do if you follow our system. So I mean, we follow the perfect product blueprint, then we like analyze the competitors, and we analyze if there's any kind of seasonality, or are there any sales spikes in certain time period, or reviews. For example, on this one product OA challenge, like today on day number 4, I mean, we are really digging deep into those reviews and really figuring out like who is the buyer, for whom is the product bought, when is it bought, and when is it used, and so on. So on Amazon, this is especially pretty much easy thing to do, because we can get so tons of information from the reviews. And then competition, I mean, learn how to handle competition in business. Yeah, I mean, sure. And know your customers, understand the competition, and highlight what's really different about us. And that's the thing that we do on our product listings. I mean, if we do the proper research beforehand, then we are able to speak the same language as our customers, and we are able to, like, oftentimes we are using like direct sentences from the reviews on our product listing. I mean, the reviews are really gold mine, and we can find like a lot of marketing material in those review sections. But I mean, ideally, we would want to sell a product that we know inside and out, and we know everything about it, and it's also already a product that we have been selling for years, and because it's our passion and interest, then we have been customer of this like niche already for quite some time. So that means that we already know what the customers want, and we already know how it's used, and we already know the like buying experience, the user using experience, and we know what kind of issues there are. We know what kind of like different opportunities, I mean, choices there are from different brands. So I mean, ideally that would be the case, that we sell something that we already have this like expertise on. But in many cases that's not really the reality. So that means that we just need to do the research, and we have to put the effort, we have to put more effort in figuring these things out. So that just means that we are going to be spending more time. So if we are going to a market that we really don't know this niche, we really have never used this product, then we basically don't have the competitive advantage yet. As I mean, compared to someone who's already been on the niche for, let's say, years and years. So we are basically have some catching up to do. That's okay, we can catch up. That just means that we have to really dig deep into this niche and really understand that, okay, what do the customers want from this product? I mean, who are the buyers? Because often the buyer is actually different from the user, and like we need to answer all those specific questions that we have in the perfect product blueprint to really figure out this niche. Then, I mean, we need to use language that speaks to the customers. So there's a saying in marketing that if you confuse, you lose. So if you are confusing our customers, then I mean, they are not going to buy. They are going to vote with their wallets, and they are not going to vote for us then, because we are just confusing them. So that's why we really need to have like clarified message. We really need to simplify our message. Like, what is the brand about? What is the product about? And what is really the value we give for the customers? And I mean, the branding has to reinforce this messaging. And it's so easy to forget all this stuff if we just consider ourselves as like, yeah, we're just Amazon sellers, we are just marketers that basically are focused on how can we do better product listing, and we basically just ignore the whole brand, and we ignore the whole like deeper meaning of the brand and that kind of stuff. I mean, and I know, I mean, it's easy to forget it, but we should be focused on really enforcing the message of our brand and really building this brand story, and really like having a message that resonates with customers. But yes, I mean, but one thing is that we either grow or we shrink. There is really no like neutral state. I mean, status quo. because that's one thing that why the aggregators are always, well, not always, but most of them are interested in growth, because they know that if the sales are stagnant, then there's a high likelihood that things are going to turn for the worse. So that's why we also need to be focused on growing all the time. And one pretty simple way to grow on Amazon, that okay, we are in the US market, but maybe we have already tapped out with our current product in the marketplace. I mean, let's just take the same product to new marketplaces. Let's take it to Europe. Let's take it to Canada. Let's take it to Australia. And that's the good thing about Amazon, because it has just so many of these marketplaces that we can tap into. It says there that look after the existing customers. What it means on Amazon, that we have to protect our core products. So the products that are bringing in the majority of the revenue, we have to make sure that everything is intact in those products. So that means the product listings and the quality of the product, and that everything has to be stable. Because we have already, like previously, been talking about how certain amount of our effort is going to new ventures, but majority will actually be in protecting our core, protecting the core business. And what it means in terms of Amazon is that we have to make sure that the products that are bringing us majority of the sales, that everything's going smoothly with those products. And yes, I mean, there's always new opportunities to do, but I wouldn't really start exploring to new sales channels unless you exactly know what to do. Because I mean, it happens that okay, people want to do their own stores, they want to have a new million sales channels like outside of Amazon. Like people are thinking, I don't want to be dependent on Amazon, so I'm just gonna like divert to or expand to Walmart, eBay, my own store, and so on. And usually in many cases that can be a mistake, because if you're taking on a new area that you have no expertise, you have no knowledge, you have no success path, then I mean the likelihood of succeeding quickly in a matter of months, I mean it's pretty slim, because there's always a learning curve. So that means that the learning curve can be pretty thick, and it might actually end up being completely wasted effort. And many of these aggregators don't even appreciate much the sales that are coming from Amazon. So if the target is to actually sell the brand, then we just basically wasted our effort. So we have to be really careful where we put our time. And yeah, I mean, we already know that there's a product life cycle. So at a certain time, it's going to start like the market is going to be maturating. So I mean that we are kind of like reaching our peaks with the product. So at that point, we need to come up with new ways what to do with the product. So different kind of ideas what we can do in order to get more sales. And I mean, this is definitely important thing. Like it can definitely have a big competitive advantage. I mean, team. That's why we put so much effort in hiring the best people for our team. We want to hire A players for pretty much every single role there is. But that being said, like being A player also can be like role specific, meaning that when you have a certain role, you're an A player. But if you would have your different kind of role, then you could actually be a C player, just because I mean that role is not playing into your strengths. But that's why we also, I mean, put effort into building this culture and all that kind of stuff. So yes, on Amazon, I mean, we just decide the markets that we want to go after. And it's important that we have this like, I mean, we give you a pretty simple way how to work on goals, because we are giving you the framework on how to do these OKRs, so objectives and key results, quarterly. Then we give you this weekly planning system, so you can be focused on making sure that you are heading into the right direction, like fast enough. Because if you do this self-reflection, retrospectives every week, we are going to be getting so much gold in that area. And then I track and measure progress over time. And it's pretty limited what we can do on Amazon in terms of customer engagement. So another way to approach that, it's just to build our list, and that means the email list, phone number list, and those kind of things. So that's definitely area where to focus. And market research analysis, that's what we do using the perfect product blueprint. And using the perfect product blueprint, we develop this marketing strategy, how to build this competitive advantage on Amazon. Then we focus on our niche. So that's really what we want to do with our brand. So we don't want to have a brand that is in millions of different categories. No, we want to be focused on certain niches. And it's going to be pretty weird if you have a conversation with a buyer with Amazon aggregator about selling your brand, and if you're saying that, yeah, I sell travel items, and my brand also sells like home and improvement stuff, and also we sell some sports outdoor stuff, and also we sell stuff for babies and toys, and it would be pretty, then there would be no brand, there would be no focus on any niche. So that's definitely not the best situation to be, because then we are at this position that, our brand is just all over the place, and it's much more difficult to build this strong brand. It's not impossible. You see some companies succeeding with that, but that's pretty much a whole completely different strategy than what we are doing on Amazon. And we should all the time doing this experimentation, so running these different kind of strategies. For example, we are doing these funnels, and we are basically experimenting with new stuff, like, for example, with doing e-commerce, these accounts on TikTok. And there was actually an interesting article on Wall Street Journal, and it said that every small business has to have a TikTok account. Every small business has to be on TikTok. And that was pretty actually spot on, because there's such a way how we can grow new areas, and how we can basically find new customers, and we can have a bigger impact with our brand. So that's where like TikTok comes along, because it gives this kind of a channel to find new customers and really make completely different kinds of communication level with your customers. And if you have noticed, like, Amazon just announced their kind of like collaboration and integration that they are doing with TikTok. So what do you think? Could there be some reason why Amazon is doing this? Why is Amazon starting a cooperation with TikTok? Probably there's some very good reason for that, and it kind of gives us the signal that TikTok is a place where we should definitely be. If you like this topic, then hit a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And we also have a closed group where we discuss these topics. So if you want to be added to the group, then just comment group and my team will reach out to you. See you there.